The second book of the Chronicles, chapter 36. And the people of the land took Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and made him king in his father's stead in Jerusalem. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. And the king of Egypt put him down at Jerusalem, and imposed a fine upon the land of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. And the king of Egypt made Eliakim his brother king over Judah and Jerusalem, and changed his name to Jehoiakim. And Necho took Jehoahaz his brother, and carried him to Egypt. Verse 5. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and he did evil in the sight of Jehovah his God. Against him came up Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and bound him with chains of brass to carry him to Babylon. And Nebuchadnezzar carried part of the vessels of the house of Jehovah to Babylon, and put them in his temple at Babylon. Verse 8. And the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim, and his abominations which he did, and that which was found in him, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. And Jehoiakim, his son, reigned in his stead. Verse 9. Jehoiakim was 18 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem, and he did evil in the sight of Jehovah. And at the turn of the year King Nebuchadnezzar sent and had him brought to Babylon, with the precious vessels of the house of Jehovah. And he made Zedekiah his brother king over Judah and Jerusalem. Verse 11. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and he did evil in the sight of Jehovah his God. He humbled not himself before the prophet Jeremiah, speaking from the mouth of Jehovah. And he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who had made him take oath by God, and he stiffened his neck, and hardened his heart from returning to Jehovah, the God of Israel. All the chiefs of the priests also, and the people, increased their transgressions, according to all the abominations of the nations, and they defiled the house of Jehovah, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And Jehovah, the God of their fathers, sent to them by his messengers, rising up early and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they mocked at the messengers of God, and despised his words, and scoffed at his prophets, until the fury of Jehovah rose against his people, and there was no remedy. Verse 17. And he brought up against them the king of the Chaldees, and slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and spared not young man nor maiden, old man nor him of hoary head. He gave them all into his hand. And all the vessels of the house of God, great and small, and the treasures of the house of Jehovah, and the treasures of the king and of his princes, he brought all to Babylon. And they burned the house of God, and broke down the wall of Jerusalem, and burned all the palaces thereof with fire, and all the precious vessels thereof were given up to destruction. And them that had escaped from the sword he carried away to Babylon, and they became servants to him and his sons, until the reign of the kingdom of Persia, to fulfill the word of Jehovah by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed its Sabbaths. All the days of its desolation it kept Sabbath, to fulfill 70 years. Verse 22. And in the first year of Cyrus king of Persia, that the word of Jehovah by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, Jehovah stirred up the spirit of Cyrus king of Persia, and he made a proclamation throughout his kingdom, and also in writing, saying, Thus says Cyrus king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth has Jehovah, the God of the heavens, given to me, and he has charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Whosoever there is among you of all his people, Jehovah his God be with him, and let him go up.